Well, welcome back to Actionable Intelligence. I'm Eric Greitens. We are joined now by Just the News founder and editor-in-chief, John Solomon. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
JustTheNews.com. We just have a brand new breaking story. It's up on the website now. Please let our viewers know.
The first acknowledgement by the FBI that a liberal anarchist participated in the Capitol riots last week. Remember, we've been told this is all MAGA people only. Nope. Today, John Sullivan of Utah, a man who's previously been charged in a riot in Utah from the summer. Remember when we had all the bad summer riots? He was charged with participating in a violent riot where a person was shot. Today, he was charged by the FBI with participating in the Capitol riots, entering unlawfully to the Capitol, encouraging people to set fires, to take things. This is a man who portrayed himself as being in the Capitol as a journalist. The FBI called his bluff today. They've charged him, I believe, with 3 counts. The first non-Trump or non-MAGA person to be charged. I'm hearing that there are others that the FBI are looking at. This is going to become, as we said last night, much more complicated picture of what really happened.
And it sounds like he's also specifically lied to the FBI. Is that right?
Well, I mean, he says he's a
we don't know for sure. But yes,
they says he's a journalist. They say he was an anarchist, or a participant in a violent crime.
Right.
The public's going to decide this, but here's the killer part. His own video footage he took as a journalist is what's now being used to prosecute him.
Wow.
It captures him making these utterances of incitement. Big development. This is what the Trump people have been saying. We thought there were more people there than just ours.
Yes.
Now the question is how many? What else happened, and what other charges are forthcoming? I'm told from law enforcement tonight they are looking at 3 to 5 other people that are known liberal anarchists that they believe were involved in some way in this Capitol riot. That will change the storyline a little bit. But remember, they already rushed to impeach the president before this evidence came out.
Wow. I know that you and the team are going to continue to follow this story. We've also got a big story that you published yesterday was about the declassification of documents moving forward. What do we know right now tonight about the likelihood of other documents being declassified?
Important breaking news again. Literally, just found this out just a little bit ago. The President of the United States, President Trump, has declassified large numbers, I'm told 1.5 feet of documents. Almost everything that the FBI had left out of public sight, the Justice Department, everything from Christopher Steele's debriefings to Stefan Halper, another one of the undercover informants. And we are going to learn big, dramatic storylines, things that the FBI and their Democratic defenders have tried to suppress in this Russia case. One of them is when Christopher Steele was interviewed a year after he was fired as informant, he came back and he said, the reason I was leaking to the media was to create the Russia narrative story in the public because Hillary Clinton was concerned about her email scandal. And so I was trying to change the subject, take the gloves off and change the subject. So the Russia narrative, the collusion narrative, it was there to help Hillary Clinton. That's what he says in his own words.
This is a huge development. So again, just to remind all of our viewers, you go back to 2016, Hillary Clinton is being asked questions about her server.
That's right.
Her private server that she had, and they're worried about potentially having foreign actors, including perhaps the Russians, who got a hold of secret information because she was using her private server. And what we're hearing now is that Christopher Steele, who created the entire fake dossier upon which the whole Russia collusion hoax was built, he's saying that he did it because
he wanted to change the topic, because the email scandal, if you remember, at the very end of the campaign, James Comey reopened the Hillary Clinton email scandal after closing it down. When that happened, he said, I leaked to the news media to put this other subject out there, this false narrative out there to help Hillary Clinton fight. And he says, we were taking the gloves off. Well, that's not what an FBI informant is supposed to do. He's supposed to secretly help the FBI. He takes his knowledge of what he's feeding the FBI, gives it to the public in an effort to sway the election. And remember, he's a foreigner. He's a Brit.
Yes.
This is a clear evidence of a British foreigner trying to influence the 2016 election by his own admission to the FBI.
By his own admission to the FBI, he's trying to influence it. And not only is he trying to influence it, he's trying to influence it directly as a result. In his own words, it sounds like he's admitting because of the trouble that Hillary Clinton was in.
That's right.
And that formed the basis for the entire Russia collusion hoax, which lasted for years.
That's
here.
right.
It was nonstop coverage around the Russia collusion hoax. I mean, give our viewers just a reminder of how long that narrative went on.
It started in July of 2016 when the FBI opened Operation Crossfire Hurricane, and it did not end until April 2019. It consumed more than 2 years of the Trump presidency. In April 2019, that's when Robert Mueller, the special counsel, finally declared there was no collusion after all. The FBI knew from the beginning. These documents are clear. The FBI did not trust Steele's dossier. They had no other real evidence of collusion, but they allowed this to go on even after learning from Christopher Steele his motive was to put a false story into the public domain to change the topic off of Hillary Clinton's scandal. We all in the media who got this wrong, certainly not Just the News, but other media members, they're going to look at these documents and be shamed. There's another informant mentioned in these documents.
Yes.
Stefan Halper.
Yes.
He was the informant who wore the wire on people like George Papadopoulos and Carter Page, two targets. His tasking orders from the FBI. Now remember what the narrative has been from the Democrats, the media, the FBI. This wasn't spying. Even James Combs, I wouldn't call this spying. In these documents, they talk specifically about targeting the Trump campaign, portraying yourself falsely as someone who wants to come in and maybe get hired by the campaign, work for the campaign, then use that access to spy on what was going on inside the Trump campaign. Specific tasking orders, who to contact, how to conduct yourself, how to pretend you're interested in getting hired. This is what spying is. You falsely portray a persona, you get embedded, you report back to your spy handlers what it is. The idea that this wasn't spying will be blown out of the water when people see these tasking documents that are going to get made public as early as tomorrow.
Wow. So this is hard evidence for the first time in detailed documents detailing exactly how, not just that they're admitting to spying,
That's right.
but detailing exactly how they wanted to go in and spy on the Trump campaign.
Create a false story that he wanted to go get hired by the Trump campaign and use that. And they're targeting you. You should talk to this Trump person, talk to that Trump person, record this person. If that isn't spying, I don't know what is. And all those who falsely deceived us by saying no spying was going on, they should be held to account when this document is shown out. There's other very big revelations in the documents. One of them is, I've always wondered, where did Christopher Steele get his first source?
Yes.
They call him the primary subsource. He's the guy that had all the salacious Russia stuff that turned out to be bogus.
Yes.
When the FBI interviewed the subsource, he denied some of the things he said, or said, Christopher Steele, I was just doing bar talk.
Yeah.
I didn't intend it to be intelligence. That subsource was connected to Christopher Steele by one of the most famous impeachment witnesses against President Trump 3 years later, Fiona Hill, a Russian expert on the National Security Council working for Donald Trump. She is the person, according to Christopher Steele, he tells the FBI, that's who connected me. Fiona Hill connected me to the subsource that made the most salacious things. The connectivity between impeachment and Russia becomes incredibly clear when you look at these documents.
This is incredible. So we now have documents that are demonstrating.
We will be getting. We don't have them yet. But my reporting indicates that's what's in them. Yeah.
That's what's in
right.
it. And that your reporting indicates that we're going to get documents that show that one of the witnesses against President Trump in his impeachment worked with Christopher Steele to create the fake dossier.
She introduces the man who then becomes.
I'm sorry. She introduces
him to the man who becomes, and later he goes back and tells her, according to the FBI documents, at least as I've heard from my sources over the last 6 months, later goes back and says, hey, you know that dossier that's out in public? Your guy really helped me on that. So she knew that the person she had introduced ultimately became the source of a lot of that. Now remember, Fiona Hill cast some doubt on the Russia collusion story when she testified in impeachment, raised some questions about the narrative. We didn't know then, and nor did I don't believe, did the Trump defense team know that she had this prior connection to Christopher Steele. We're now finding about it, tragically, at the very last days of the Trump administration.
Oh my gosh. This is major breaking news. And then give our viewers a sense. It sounds like some of these documents your reporting indicates are going to be coming soon. Give us a sense for what you think the likely trajectory here in terms of timing of these documents coming out.
We could see the stack as early as tomorrow or as late as Monday, but it's going to fall in that window. Obviously, the president leaves office on Wednesday.
Yes.
But these are significant documents. They really fill in the blanks. They really debunk some of the false storylines that the FBI gave when it was trying to defend himself, deflect. Hey, there's a lot of good evidence against Donald Trump and the Russia collusion. There was no evidence against Donald Trump. One of the people forget this because it happened just before the election, but one of the lead FBI agents that worked the case for 3 years testified to the Justice Department just in September. He finally cracked and went to the Justice Department and said what happened. He said, "We never had evidence of collusion. The whole effort was to, quote, get Trump." That's his words.
Right.
Get Trump any way we could. What a shameful thing to think that our most powerful law enforcement agency, our most powerful intelligence agencies were involved in a get Trump partisan exercise in the absence of any evidence of collusion. And we in the American public were being fed a false story by the intelligence community, by the FBI, by the Democrats in Congress, and by the news media.
These are incredible revelations. And again, this is a lot to digest for our viewers. So first, we have liberal activist who's actually arrested by the FBI.
That's correct.
Right. Second, we now know for certain that there was an documented effort to actually spy on the Trump campaign, and this document lays out also how that was in fact done.
Without question.
We're connecting one of the witnesses who testified against Trump at his impeachment to a subsource for the fake Steele dossier.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Christopher Steele himself in these documents is saying that the entire Russia collusion hoax, this dossier, was created for the purpose of deflecting from Hillary Clinton's email trouble.
That's why he went to the news media. It's remarkable. Why he leaked.
This is incredible. John,
a lot more to learn.
Again, I'll just say, personally and on behalf of our viewers, we appreciate your strong and courageous reporting. We look forward to having you back on again.
Thanks, Eric.
Folks, again, that is John Solomon, founder and editor-in-chief of JustTheNews.com. Go out right now to JustTheNews.com and push these stories out to your friends and family. These are big revelations, and stay tuned because more is coming.